Hello, how's it going? My name is Ryan, I'm a CPA. Today I'm going to be talking about the Inflation Reduction Act's DASH electric vehicle credits. Yeah, we're going to dive a little deeper into the EV credits and what's going on in this bill that was just passed and why it is a good thing and why you should know what you need to know about it. All right, so first of all, let's do a quick recap on the Inflation Reduction Act. I made a video on this a few weeks ago, but let's do a very quick recap. Okay, it's a bill that was passed by the Biden administration, and its goal, as you might guess, is to reduce inflation through various means. And there's also some other items in here that are beneficial, you might say, for the American people. Like there's some provisions on reducing healthcare costs and health insurance costs and expanding the premium tax credit with that. There's a little bit more taxes for certain corporations. Then you're going to see, corporate stock buybacks and minimum taxes for foreign income on corporations. There is some funding for additional IRS enforcement, which means that they're going to come after you with all their guns and come after your family and all of that. Just if you can't tell, I'm being sarcastic. There's some funding for the IRS, and there's expansions of renewable energy incentives. And primarily one of them is primarily the electric vehicle credits, which I'm going to be talking about right now. All right, so what is the electric vehicle credits? It is up to $7,500 per new vehicle purchased, as long as it qualifies, it meets certain guidelines for the electric vehicle credit or the plug-in hybrid vehicle credit. But either way, it's $7,500. And if you're in this space at all, you would know that this credit was already available as $7,500. So why is this important now? Well, glad you asked. So this bill has made some pretty significant changes to the electric vehicle world. First off, starting in 2023, it's removing the 200,000 car unit sales cap that was originally in place. What this means is some car manufacturers who have sold over 200,000 cars that qualified for the credits, those vehicles no longer qualify for the $7,500 credits. So this means makers like Tesla and General Motors, which had their credits phased out a while ago, and if you bought Teslas or car like Chevy Bolts and stuff, you couldn't qualify for the electric vehicle credits anymore. But now you can. Okay, so you remove that production cap or the sales cap for those cars. So now Teslas, General Motors cars all qualify for this credit. One other thing, now they removed that cap, but they have made some other restrictions in place so that it might make it a little bit more difficult to qualify for these credits in general. So before this bill, you just buy an electric vehicle that qualified for the credit and you get the credit. Now, there is actually an MSRP cap on the credits. So for trucks, SUVs, or larger vehicles that are meant for personal use, there's an MSRP cap of $80,000 on the sale of the vehicle. And for other cars like sedans and coupes, hatchbacks, that kind of thing, the MSRP cap is $55,000. So if you buy a vehicle at $55,000 or $80,000 or under, you qualify for the credits. If not, then you may not qualify for the credit. It may phase out. There is also an income limit on whether or not you're able to qualify for the credits. So the income limit is $150,000 per single taxpayer, $300,000 for married filing jointly payers, and $225,000 for head of household taxpayers. Starting in 2014, rather than taking the tax credit on your tax return, in 2014, you may be able to claim a rebate at the time of the purchase, which means basically you're passing the tax credit off to the dealership, and the dealership is just giving you right then and there, a $7,500 up to $7,500 reduction in the sale price. So that's starting in 2024. Other restrictions include, in future years, some, significant mineral requirements and also, battery construction requirements and the way that the battery is powered. There's also going to be restrictions on which cars qualify if the battery parts or if the minerals are mines in foreign countries or foreign entities of concern, then they won't qualify for the credits. And one of those foreign countries is China, which is a pretty large manufacturer of these batteries. So if the car's batteries or minerals were from one of these countries, then they won't qualify for the credits, but that's in future years. Something to keep in mind, they're trying to incentivize electric vehicles that are manufactured in the United States. All right, so that's for new vehicles. You buy a new electric vehicle from the dealership, those are the guidelines for those vehicles. And usually in the past, that would be all. You wouldn't qualify for a credit if you purchased a used vehicle because technically the credit would already have been claimed. However, with this new bill, you could qualify for a tax credit for used vehicles. So, which is super interesting, and it could be an incentive to buy used vehicles if you can't afford a newer vehicle. So, what does that look like? The credit for used vehicles is up to $4,000. So it's calculated by the lesser of $4,000 or 30% of the purchase price of the vehicle. Okay, the vehicle has to be at least 2 years old. The model has to be at least 2 years old, and the selling price of the vehicle can't exceed $25,000. Now there's some restrictions or guidelines on which vehicles qualify. I'll post a link on like a fact sheet on all this stuff, but basically, the car has to be primarily operated by a battery, or it has to be able to be recharged or plugged in. I don't know these exact specifics, but the fact sheet should tell you these things. And just like the new vehicle credit, the used vehicle credit has income limitations as well, but it is far more restrictive than the new vehicle credit. So the used vehicle credit income restrictions means you have to make less than $75,000 as a single or married filing separately taxpayer. You have to make less than $150,000 as married filing jointly, and you have to make less than $112,000 as head of household taxpayer. One last thing I want to mention about the used car credit is it seems like you had to purchase the car through a dealership in order to qualify for the credits. I'm assuming because the dealership will kind of vet and pre-qualify these cars for the credits, in order for you to take the tax credit legitimately. So I don't think you can be purchasing these vehicles, through Craigslist from another private party. I think you have to purchase them through the dealership. And also, starting in 2024, you will be able to, opt in for the rebates of the credits rather than taking it on your tax return, just like the new vehicle credit. Now, before I continue, it would be awesome if you would smash the like button and hit the subscribe button if you're finding this at all useful or entertaining. Okay, so one question you might have is, will leasing vehicles qualify you for this credits? Dealerships don't have any obligation to pass the tax credit along to you if you decide to lease a vehicle, since you don't technically own the car. I'm hoping dealerships will somehow pass the cost savings along to you, but they have no obligation to. So just something to keep in mind. Leasing a car is also a pretty expensive way to operate a car anyway, so probably just recommend you purchase the car, whether you finance it or buy it outright, just to solidify your ownership of the credit. All right, and aside from this federal bill that just passed, just keep in mind that states also may have incentives for hybrids or electric vehicles, if you may not know about it. But yeah, we live in Colorado, and there has been, for as long as I remember, electric vehicle credits for the state as well. So, when Teslas were just starting out, were just starting to get popular, there was a $7,500 credit from the federal level. There was also a $5,000 credit on the state level. Now I know the state credit has now reduced to $2,500, but just keep in mind that there are state credits available, and not to miss out on those if you decide to purchase an electric vehicle in the future, Once again, something to keep in mind, this new bill for electric vehicles takes effect on January 1, 2023. So don't, if you're holding out for the credit, then hold out until 2023 to take delivery of your Tesla or your Chevy Bolt or whatever it is, okay? That's all I got for now. Thanks for joining me. Again, my name is Ryan. If you found this video helpful, please smash the like button. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate that. And, stay safe out there. Join me next week. I'll have some more videos for you. Take care, and I'll see you then.
Move for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a sticker. She picture perfect, so I told him